Well, hey, this is all about sharing the journey. And if you've ever been camping or hiking with a group, you can always see who people really are, right? You usually see some good things, and then you see some things that are not so good. And you've got different personalities too. You've got the fire guy, the dude that's always trying to start a fire. And then you've got the cook, the person who's, telling you how you can cook a steak to perfection. And then you have a person that's always suggesting all the crazy ideas, right? Wanting to do something wild. And then you've got on the other end of the spectrum, you've got the safety person who follows all the rules and complies and has all the issues with the crazy person. And then there's always the person that knows everything about nature. And, that person's teaching everybody about the different trees and the plants and then the animals around them. But here's what makes camping trips so amazing is that everyone is using their gifts and passions to help the group as a whole. And this is exactly what God wants us to do in the church. In fact, the Bible talks about this in detail in 1 Corinthians chapter 12. This passage talks about how a group of Christians who gathers is like a human body. There's all kinds of different parts of the body that serve different functions. So it is with the church. And here's the truth. Every single person has a gift. And that gift is not just for you. It's to encourage another Christian in their faith. As each person brings their gift to the group, the whole benefits. Each of us using our gift for the benefit of others is an expression of love as well. That's exactly why the very next chapter in 1 Corinthians, chapter 13, is all about love. So I want to ask you this. How are you using your gifts to serve others? You might have extra time to lend a hand or administrative skills, or you might be really friendly, or you might like teaching the Bible to others, or you might like meeting care needs. Maybe you have multiple gifts. Either way, you have a gift, and God wants to use you to bless others with that gift. And so here's my challenge to you. Let me encourage you to think about the things that come easy to you. What are the things that others tell you that you're good at? All right, take those, write them down, and then ask God, how can I use this to bless others? Maybe ask your small group leader or pastor about opportunities that align with your giftings, and then start serving and watch God use you in a big way. Okay, so not only does God want us to share our gifts and with others, but God calls us to share our financial resources with others. The Christians early on, the first believers in the book of Acts, they were generous. This is what it says in Acts chapter 2. It says, and all the believers met together in one place and shared everything they had. They sold their property and possessions and shared the money with those in need. Acts chapter 2, verses 44 and 45. Now that's generosity, right? They're willing to share everything. And here's what's even more amazing. These people had not been believers very long, and yet they were so generous. And here's why they could be so generous with their money. It's because they knew how generous God had been to them first. Let me just do this little illustration with you. Okay, so let's say you were having a really good day, like a really, really good day, and you gave me your house. And that house just happened to be on a beach, and it was also paid off. And then you gave me your car to go with it. Must have been a really, really good day, right? But a month later, you're not having a good day, and you're actually come on hard times, and you need a couple $100. If you asked me for some money, what do you think I would say? Of course. What is a couple $100 compared to what you've already given me? And this is exactly what God has done for us. Here's something to remember. An understanding of what we've been given will produce generosity in our lives. Why? Because that understanding transforms our heart. And this is why we can give the tithe, or the 10% of our income. That's what tithe means. Maybe you've heard this term tithe before. And this was a standard for the people of God in the Old Testament. And it really became a norm for the church in the New Testament for centuries to come. And it was an act of obedience, and it's done out of love and gratitude. Okay, so now that 10% might scare you, all right? But I want to encourage you with this. Don't let it. Instead, let me encourage you with this. Start being generous with your time, gifts, energy, and financial resources, and watch God bless you in return. And don't let that number or percentage stop you. Start where you can now, and as you watch God show his generosity to you, continue to take steps of faith. Okay, I'll finish this video with this from the Bible. It's in 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 6. It says, remember this, a farmer who plants only a few seeds will get a small crop, but the one who plants generously will get a generous crop. Okay, so the Bible is just using a farming illustration here, and it's talking actually about giving. That's the context of it. And if we give generously, God will see that generosity and bless it in proportion to the sacrifice. Look what verse 10 of that same chapter says. For God is the one who provides seed for the farmer and then bread to eat. In the same way, he will provide and increase your resources and then produce a great harvest of generosity. 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 10. Now, sometimes that blessing is financial, but many times it's not. Either way, you can know this. You can't outgive God, and your needs will always be met as you're generous to others. This is the reality of being generous. It's what God does. So here's what my challenge for you this week is to simply try it. Give something. Let it stretch your faith, but be on the watch for God's blessing headed your way as you share on your journey. All right, in our next video, we're going to be talking about inviting others with you on the journey. So we'll see you over there.